In the fading twilight of a spring evening in Jerusalem, circa 950 BCE, a wealthy merchant counts his gold coins, meticulously arranging them in neat piles. His face gleams with satisfaction as he admires his growing fortune. Outside his ornate home, beggars huddle in the shadows, watching as aristocrats in fine linens parade through the streets. The divide between rich and poor stretches back to antiquity, revealing a timeless human struggle. Have you ever wondered why some people place their ultimate trust in wealth? Why do we often measure a person's worth by their possessions rather than their character? The answer might surprise you. It's not just a modern phenomenon but a spiritual blindness that has plagued humanity for thousands of years. Today, we'll explore an ancient poem that speaks directly to this enduring human condition, Psalm 49. Written approximately 3,000 years ago during Israel's Golden Age, this remarkable psalm offers wisdom that cuts through our materialistic culture with surgical precision. Imagine standing in the bustling marketplace of ancient Jerusalem. The sons of Korah, a respected guild of temple musicians and poets who served from the time of Moses around 1400 BCE through the kingdom period, have gathered a crowd. These weren't ordinary musicians, they were theologians, philosophers, and social commentators who used their artistic platform to communicate profound spiritual truths. On this particular day, they're about to perform a piece that challenges the very foundations of how society values human life and achievement. The crowd grows silent as the first notes begin to play. Hear this, all peoples. Give ear, all inhabitants of the world, both low and high, rich and poor together. With these words, Psalm 49 immediately establishes its universal audience. This isn't a message for just the religious elite or the scholarly class, it's for everyone, regardless of social status or wealth. The psalmist is addressing a fundamental human concern that transcends cultural barriers and historical periods. In the ancient Near East, around 1000 to 900 BCE when this psalm was likely composed, society was rigidly hierarchical. Scholars studying artifacts from this period have documented vast disparities between the elaborate tomb treasures of nobility and the simple clay vessels of common graves. Archaeological findings at sites like Megiddo and Hazor reveal striking differences between palatial structures and common dwellings, showing how wealth separated people in life and in death. But the psalmist continues with an astounding claim: this separation is ultimately an illusion. My mouth shall speak wisdom, the meditation of my heart shall be understanding. I will incline my ear to a proverb, I will solve my riddle to the music of the lyre. The writer isn't simply offering personal opinions but deep wisdom, hard-earned insight into the human condition that comes from careful observation and divine revelation. The reference to a riddle suggests there's a puzzle about life that needs solving, one that many people miss. And what is this riddle? It concerns our relationship with wealth and mortality. Why should I fear in times of trouble, when the iniquity of my persecutors surrounds me, those who trust in their wealth and boast of the abundance of their riches? Here, the psalmist addresses a situation many of us can relate to, feeling intimidated or threatened by those with greater resources and power. Throughout history, wealth has often been used as a weapon to oppress others. During the monarchical period in ancient Israel, we find numerous prophetic condemnations of this very practice. The prophet Amos, writing around 760 BCE, denounced those who trample the head of the poor into the dust of the earth and push the afflicted out of the way. Isaiah, ministering from approximately 740 to 700 BCE, proclaimed woe to those who join house to house, who add field to field, until there is no more room. These contemporary witnesses confirm the social reality against which Psalm 49 was written. But the psalmist sees beyond immediate circumstances to a profound truth. Truly no man can ransom another, or give to God the price of his life, for the ransom of their life is costly and can never suffice, that he should live on forever and never see the pit. This passage strikes at the heart of wealth's ultimate limitation. In ancient societies, ransom payments were common, captives could be freed if sufficient payment was made. The Hebrew term used here, kafir, appears in legal texts like Exodus 21 verse 30, circa 1400 BCE, where it refers to a payment made to avoid a death penalty. But the psalmist declares there's no such payment that can redeem a human life from death. No amount of wealth can extend life indefinitely. This was especially poignant in the ancient world, where the average lifespan was approximately 35 to 40 years, according to paleopathological studies of skeletal remains from this period. For he sees that even the wise die, the fool and the stupid alike must perish and leave their wealth to others. Their graves are their homes forever, their dwelling places to all generations, though they called lands by their own names. The universality of death is the great equalizer. Historical records from ancient civilizations show elaborate efforts to deny this reality. Egyptian pharaohs built massive pyramids, Mesopotamian kings commissioned grand stelae, and wealthy Israelites carved ornate tombs into hillsides, all attempts to extend their names and legacy beyond death. Archaeological discoveries at Ketef Hinnom in Jerusalem, dating to the 7th century BCE, revealed silver scrolls with inscriptions suggesting beliefs about afterlife and divine protection, evidence that these concerns about mortality were widespread in ancient Judah. Yet the psalmist observes that regardless of worldly wisdom or foolishness, death claims everyone. The naming of lands, a common practice among ancient nobility to secure their legacy, ultimately fails to grant immortality. Man in his pomp will not remain, he is like the beasts that perish. This stark comparison would have been particularly shocking to ancient hearers. In Near Eastern cultures, the distinction between humans and animals was foundational to their understanding of creation and cosmic order. Sumerian and Babylonian creation myths, dating from approximately 1800 to 1600 BCE, emphasized humanity's special place in the divine order. Yet the psalmist declares that death renders the proud human being no different from animals. This isn't denying spiritual afterlife, but rather highlighting the physical reality of death that no amount of wealth can prevent. The psalm continues with a powerful metaphor. This is the path of those who have foolish confidence, yet after them people approve of their boasts. Like sheep they are appointed for Sheol, death shall be their shepherd. The image of death as a shepherd subverts a common ancient Near Eastern metaphor. Rulers from Hammurabi of Babylon, reigned 1792 to 1750 BCE, to King David of Israel, reigned approximately 1010 to 970 BCE, described themselves as shepherds of their people. The Egyptian pharaoh carried a shepherd's crook as a symbol of authority. Yet for those who trust in wealth, their ultimate shepherd is not a benevolent ruler but death itself. Their form shall be consumed in Sheol, with no place to dwell. But God will ransom my soul from the power of Sheol, for he will receive me. Here we find the first note of hope in the psalm. While wealth cannot ransom a life, God can. The Hebrew word pada, ransom, used here appears in ancient legal contexts for the redemption of slaves and property, but is transformed into a theological concept of divine rescue from death. This represents an extraordinary development in ancient Near Eastern thought. While Egyptian funerary texts from 1500 to 1000 BCE contained elaborate spells to guide the deceased through the afterlife, and Mesopotamian epics like Gilgamesh, circa 2100 BCE, concluded that death could not be overcome, this psalm declares that God himself provides redemption beyond wealth's capabilities. Be not afraid when a man becomes rich, when the glory of his house increases. For when he dies he will carry nothing away, his glory will not go down after him. Archaeological excavations of ancient Israelite tombs from the 8th to 7th centuries BCE reveal grave goods that suggest beliefs about taking possessions into the afterlife. Similar practices existed across ancient cultures, from Egypt's treasure-filled pharaonic tombs to Mesopotamian royal burials at Ur, dating to approximately 2500 BCE, where servants and valuables accompanied the deceased. Yet the psalmist insists that death strips away all possessions. Historical records confirm this wisdom. When King Tutankhamun's tomb was discovered in 1922, his fabulous wealth remained exactly where it was placed over 3,000 years earlier. The dead king had carried nothing away. For though, while he lives, he counts himself blessed, and though you get praise when you do well for yourself, his soul will go to the generation of his fathers, who will never again see light. The psalm acknowledges the social reality that wealth often brings public acclaim. Inscriptions from ancient Near Eastern cultures frequently celebrate the wealth and prosperity of rulers and elites. The famous Mesha stele from Moab, circa 840 BCE, and numerous royal inscriptions from Assyria and Babylon highlight how rulers boasted of their achievements and possessions. Yet despite this praise, the wealthy person joins his ancestors in death's darkness. The phrase "never again see light" reflects ancient Near Eastern conceptions of the underworld as a place of darkness and shadow. Mesopotamian texts like The Descent of Inanna, circa 1900 to 1600 BCE, describe the netherworld as a land of no return where darkness prevails. Man in his pomp yet without understanding is like the beasts that perish. The psalm concludes by repeating its central message with a crucial addition: without understanding. The problem isn't wealth itself but the lack of understanding about its limitations. Archaeological evidence throughout the ancient Near East shows that material prosperity was generally viewed as divine blessing. The Deuteronomic history, compiled around the 6th century BCE, reflects this belief, as do many Mesopotamian royal inscriptions thanking deities for material success. Yet true understanding recognizes wealth's inability to solve our deepest problem, mortality. This insight places Psalm 49 among the wisdom literature of ancient Israel, alongside books like Proverbs, Ecclesiastes, and Job, which emerged from a wisdom tradition flowering in the region from approximately 1000 to 300 BCE. As our exploration of Psalm 49 comes to a close, we're confronted with its timeless challenge. In a world where the average American household carried approximately $146,000 in debt in 2023, where social media influences us to pursue status symbols and luxury brands, where wealth inequality continues to grow, the Psalm's message remains urgently relevant. The ancient wisdom speaks directly to our modern hearts. What are you trusting in? Where have you placed your ultimate security? Remember that no amount of wealth can ransom a life from death or provide lasting meaning beyond the grave. Yet there's profound hope here too. While human resources fail, divine redemption remains possible. The psalmist doesn't condemn wealth itself but rather misplaced trust in wealth. The question isn't whether we possess resources, but whether our resources possess us. Ancient Jerusalem's marketplace has long since crumbled to dust. The sons of Korah who first performed this psalm have joined the generations in Sheol. Yet their wisdom transcends time, reminding us to seek understanding beyond material prosperity, to recognize our mortality, and to find our ultimate security not in what we own, but in who owns us. In the words of Jesus, speaking approximately 950 years after this psalm was written, "What does it profit a man to gain the whole world, yet forfeit his soul?" This question echoes the psalm's central insight, a reminder that true wealth isn't measured in possessions but in wisdom, relationship, and spiritual understanding. As we conclude this journey through ancient wisdom, consider how its light illuminates your path today. In what ways might you need to redefine wealth and success in your own life? How could embracing the reality of mortality actually lead to living more fully? And where might you need to transfer your trust from material security to something, or someone, more lasting? The sons of Korah have long since fallen silent, but their message resounds through the centuries, inviting us to live with true understanding, beyond the deceptive promises of wealth, beyond the fear of those who trust in riches, and beyond the universal equalizer of death, into the redemption only God can provide. In today's world, where success is often measured by material wealth and social status, Psalm 49 offers a profound counter-narrative. Consider the tech billionaires racing to extend human lifespan through cutting-edge research, the luxury bunkers being built by the ultra-wealthy to survive potential catastrophes, and the growing market for cryogenic preservation of human bodies.
These modern attempts to cheat death mirror the ancient folly described in this psalm.
Research from the Harvard Study of Adult Development, ongoing since 1938, consistently shows that relationships and purpose, not wealth, determine happiness and well-being. Similarly, studies of terminal patients by palliative care physician Dr. Ira Byock revealed that at life's end, few people express regret about not accumulating more possessions. Instead, they wish they had maintained better relationships, lived more authentically, and worried less about status and achievement.
What does this tell us? The ancient wisdom of Psalm 49 aligns perfectly with contemporary research on human fulfillment and meaning. The psalmist understood something fundamental about human nature that we're still rediscovering today. As you reflect on this ancient poem, consider this question: if you knew with certainty that you had 1 year left to live, would your priorities change? Would your definition of wealth transform?
The sons of Korah invite us to live with this awareness now, not waiting until death approaches to recognize what truly matters. Psalm 49 offers us a roadmap to genuine abundance, not through endless accumulation, but through understanding our place in the grand scheme of existence. By acknowledging our mortality, we paradoxically become free to truly live, unburdened by the endless pursuit of status and security that wealth seems to promise but ultimately cannot deliver. The psalmist's message echoes through history, speaking truth to every generation that faces the temptation to define life's value through material success.
From ancient Jerusalem to modern metropolises, the human heart wrestles with the same fundamental questions: what can I trust? What will last? Where do I find security?
As we conclude, remember that wealth itself is not condemned, only the misplaced trust in wealth is ultimate security. Use whatever resources you have with wisdom and perspective, knowing their limitations and true purpose. In doing so, you'll discover what the sons of Korah knew thousands of years ago: that true wealth is measured not by what you possess, but by what possesses your heart. Before you go, I want to personally invite you to be part of our growing community here at Prayer Universe. If this video touched your heart or brought you peace, take a moment to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss a prayer or message that can uplift your spirit. But most importantly, I'd love to hear from you. In the comments below, share just one word or phrase of motivation that this video inspired in you, whether it's hope, gratitude, peace, or something else. Your words matter deeply to us because they help guide the content we create for this channel. Together, let's build a space filled with faith, encouragement, and connection. Thank you for being here, and remember, every prayer counts. See you in the next one.